these slow down half-court games, and it's our own fault because we're not pushing the pace enough. And that's the main thing I told our guys. I said, I understand this time of year, if you Cincinnati, South Florida today was in the 40s. But I said, you're not going to get open looks unless we start sprinting the floor and beating teams down the court. And I was kidding with Gorky. I said, look, Gorky, you came over here to try to be a professional basketball player. I hope they have a pro league in Senegal, because you're not going to make pros if you play like that, son. You had no offensive rebound, shooting 35%. And that was the first game this year he was out of it. I don't know why. I don't know. He just maybe a little tired, maybe a little physically drained from these wars. But he's been playing great basketball, and he was totally out of it. And it could be because both Shane and Gorky had a great game at Pitt, that they just decided to take those two guys away. So the one thing we're going to work on this week is, in South Florida, it's a slow-down team, is to get our guys playing a faster pace. There'll be more opportunities, and we'll look better offensively if we can create that.
Was that hard to do, Rick, against a team that doesn't want to play fast? I mean,
but you got to attempt it, Russ. Even like on me, but you got to attempt. Five guys got to attempt to run and get into it quicker, so they're not as alert in what they should do defensively. We remember the beginning of the year before we got ready for Bahamas, we talked about the 3-second offense, getting it over half court. We got away from that a little bit.
Was it Russ, the one guy, though, he seemed like he was playing at a different speed. He scored 11 in a row at that one stretch.
Yeah, and that's why I started him, because if we were going to have to play that way, we needed somebody other than Peyton to go off the bounce. It's just that it's so difficult with him. I mean, it really is. I've never known what a nervous breakdown is, but coaching him almost daily, I feel like I'm going to have a nervous breakdown.
What was he doing during that stretch for him to be able to be successful?
Going out of his mind. I have no idea what he does out there on the court. Now, I think what we were running some side pick and rolls for him, and the chances of him passing on a side pick and roll are not good. But he's the one guy that's fearless, and let's face it, he's won about 4 or 5 games for us this year. He really has. If we can just get him, I live with it. I haven't coached. I guess I coached Antoine Walker. I could live with any type of shot. I could live with that. But he's got to stop with the game on the line. Stop reaching, because could have gave up a 3 there when he went for the steal. We didn't need a steal. We need to stop the 3. So I'm just trying to get him to concentrate on defense. Offensively, just let him have his way.
Were you surprised they did, with 13 seconds, that they went to the basket instead of pulling up for a 3? Or
we were playing the 3-point line. We were guarding the line with our life. So guy had a layup. I told Russ, stay on the side of him, and we're going to switch out. We're not giving him a 3. And Billy Raftery asked me if I would foul in that situation. And because we're going small, and one of our weaknesses is we're not a great free throw blockout team. I'm afraid to do that. I've only done it once in my life. I would rather guard the line with our life than do that.
Than foul somebody?
Yeah, I've done it one time in my life with a good blockout team and lost the game. So, if I had a good blockout team, I would certainly consider it. But I think we were doing such a good job on Gibbs and their point guard that I felt comfortable guarding it.
Coach, we continue to be plagued by droughts, scoring droughts. Any prescription for that?
I think we're playing too much half-court basketball. I think that's where, when you're walking it up and getting into sets, and the other team, see, here's what happens. Every single thing that we run is put on tape, and we put theirs on tape. So everybody knows every single thing you're going to run if you walk the ball up the floor and get into it. So everybody choreographs their they have time to choreograph their defense. If you sprint the ball up the floor, even if you don't get a fast break, it's difficult to get them to understand what you're running because they're moving, and that's what we got to get back to, and we'll start working on that tomorrow. So you're right. If you play that way, you're going to have droughts. They're going to have droughts. Cincinnati, we're going to have droughts. If you play that style, the other team knows it so well.
Do you think that's part of the reason why we're seeing these low-scoring games more and more, is that everybody knows each other so well?
It's this time of year in a conference. I think you see conference scoring, and we've got to run more. It's as simple as that. And the first half, okay, we shot a low percentage. So you guys know what happens when you shoot a low percentage. What's available for you? Offensive rebounds. Well, when you look at it, Gorky had none, Kyle had none, Shane had 1. So we weren't doing a job on the glass either.
Does that mean that in order to try and get a faster pace that you might press a little bit?
Have to press more in CL. That won the game for us tonight, no question. When you're in this close a game to press. But you know, I keep disappointing myself at doing stupid things like playing Kevin Ware when he didn't know it, and tonight playing Wayne Blackshear. You know, Fred came up to me before the game. He wasn't supposed to play. Said he's ready to play, coach, but he's not ready to play because he doesn't know what plays. He's not ready to play because he hasn't practiced. And I keep trying to get him some game experience, and I'm putting him in a bad situation because he doesn't look good, because he doesn't know what he's doing out there. He's double clutching, you know, and it's I keep disappointing myself, but we got to get him to practice so he learns what he's doing.
Can you take us through that possession with about just under 4 to go when Kyle hit that three, and that kind of gave you a little bit of distance there?
Yeah, the one thing that Kyle does that Chris has to learn to do is when Peyton is going, he's moving. He's moving, and Chris stands still. So we kept trying to run plays for him, and he's very good at moving without the basketball. And he's also, I know you made me say that because the last game he's over 11, but he's a big shot maker with the game on the line.
Was it important for him to get that confidence back and have a big game right away after that game the other night?
You know, I really don't think so. I think that if he wasn't a 4-year vet that's made a lot of big shots, I think he's smart enough to know whether you're Michael Jordan or whether you go to the other spectrum, you're going to have a night where you don't make shots. Everybody has one of those nights, and he's very fortunate that he hasn't had more of those nights. So I don't think he thought about it at all. We didn't make any big deal of it at all.
Coach, right before this game, you emphasized improving the assist-to-turnover ratio. Comment?
Well, we turned it over too much in the first half. I don't know what it was, but I think 11 maybe. Anybody know? 11.
3 in the second half.
And we had 3 in the second half, so it was much better. So when you look at 19 to 14, that's good. Only 9 assists is because you're not getting any. We had 11 fast breaks in the game. Our goal is to get 22 to 25 fast breaks per game. And, you know, maybe all these half-court games will help us because of that one game in the tournament that you got to play that way, because we've played this so much this year. But we've got to get away from it. We really do. And the only way to get away from it is what CL just said, is pressing. And I haven't been pressing because I feel more confident now in Kevin Ware, Russ. They come in, they pressure. As soon as I get Wayne, it'll even help us a little bit more.
Rick, is it important for Peyton? Are you hoping for him to pass when he's in the lane like that, or are you hoping for him to maybe try and finish more often when he penetrates?
I think it all depends on what the defense does. I think Peyton's got to go. If he sees the lane, he's got to make the shot. If the lane is covered, he's got to make the mid-range shot. If they rotate, he's got to make the pass out. He's getting better at it, but he's still not where he needs to be.
Is that a part of the whole proving I'm a point guard thing? Does he still have that? I know you talked.
No, I think he's a point guard right now. I just think sometimes he goes too fast and he can't stop and he travels. You know, all his travels are like skids. You know, he can't stop.
Rick, Gibbs only attempted 2 3-pointers, like the last second one was on top of that, didn't make one. Can you talk about your defense on him?
You know, we have played good defense the whole year. Not always good 3-point defense. But we felt that we were going to stop Woodall and Gibbs. The last time we played Woodall, he was his first game back. So we were going to stop those 2 guys tonight. J.J. Moore has been playing better and taking good shots. You know, this team, they've gone through a tough season. It's been a difficult time for them. And sometimes it's unexplainable, these type things that happens to all of us throughout our careers. And you get on a run and all of a sudden get in a rut and you can't get out of the rut. And it happens to all of us in basketball. But, you know, I know they're going to go into the Big East tournament saying, okay, we're this year's Connecticut. We'll win this thing.
What is Chris Smith's biggest issue right now? He seems to be struggling a little bit.
He just, you know, he's just not getting enough fast. Chris has got to be the product of, he never gets any open looks anymore because we're playing so slow. So they stay on him. He's not a Russ Smith where he takes him off the bounce. If we play fast, he'll get 7 to 10 open shots. But we're not. We're playing too slow, so they just stay at home on him, and he doesn't get good looks. And when he comes off the screens, they jam him a little bit, and he's not great off the bounce.
One more for Coach.
Anything that you can do more about free throws? I mean, you said that's always a point of emphasis, and you do it a lot in practice, but could it come back to hurt tonight?
Well, the guy I don't understand is Russ Smith. And I think it goes with his personality. I think he's so wound up that he has a tough time relaxing. You know, he really is. He's on one play that we needed a score on. I said, Russ, you're going to come off the screen now, and then we're going to get Kyle off the screen, and we're going to try to get him open. And If you dislodge him in, you'll be open, and let's pass the ball. He immediately never even thought about passing the ball. He just shot it and it went in. But you want him to do that when he's open. I didn't think he could get open on that play. But on the foul line, like on defense and that type of situation, he's hyped up. On the foul line, he has to learn to relax. He's the one that surprises me. I think everybody else is fine. If I had to look at the guys on the team, I'd say Shane probably, and he made 4 out of 5. Okay, so that was good in terms of that. And then Peyton made the good ones at the end. But Russ is the curious one, why he doesn't make more free throws.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, guys.